professor, and I currently teach EAP, which is English for Academic Purposes, as well as communication courses at Moha College, Seneca College, and I've also taught EAP at York University. In addition to teaching, I'm also invested in assessment. And I'm currently working as a lead assessor for Moha College on a very special project they have. And I'm also working as a speaking benchmark rater for Paragon testing and their CELPIP examinations. Now, before moving to Canada, I was an associate professor in a European university where I taught a variety of communication and linguistic courses, as well as English teaching methodology courses for more than 14 years.
Wow.
So in a way, my profession defines who I am. And I do come from a family of educators as well. So I believe teaching does run in my blood somehow.
Yeah, it seems like it. Wow, you have all these experiences and wow, it's amazing.
Thank you. It is nice to spend years in a profession, in wearing multiple hats, I'd say. But
yeah, you definitely do, and it must keep you busy.
It does. It has been very busy lately as well. So it is, but it's interesting and it is challenging. I can't see myself doing only one thing. So, and then every job helps out, right? Helps with the other job. So you move on.
Yeah,
and you build yourself professionally.
Absolutely. So I guess, how did your journey with ELT begin? I guess you touched on it a little bit.
Well, of course, I don't have a precise date, but for sure, I would say it started on the very same day. My elementary school teacher asked me to teach my classmate a grammar aspect. And well, I never stopped falling in love with teaching English and communication since then, I would say. But officially, I began thinking of becoming an English educator back in 2000, so 21 years ago, when I started my bachelor's in TEFL in teaching English as a foreign language. And then it continued with my master's and my PhD. And then after moving to Toronto, to Canada, I received my OCELT designation through TESL Ontario. And it has been a very fulfilling journey, I would say, teaching English in 2 continents, preparing several generations of English language teachers and seeing them teach now all over the world, presenting at TESL International, being a delegate at TESL International, presenting at TESL Ontario. So lots of experiences in the field, and I really feel that it has been fulfilling, and it still is.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, I didn't know you presented for TESL and TESL Ontario. That's excellent. Wow,
Thank
you
you.
have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, and that's why we wanted to talk to you.
And I've met amazing people like you
Yeah.
and the TESL Ontario team.
You also speak a variety of languages. So how did that come about?
Well, I would say that there are so many other professors, and there are so many in our profession, I would say, who speak several other languages, especially in Canada, right?
Absolutely.
You meet so many other people who speak English as a second language or a third one. So I don't think I'm special in that regard, but I would say that it's really interesting, and it comes in handy in our profession because you get to use that language sometimes. It's really, I love it when I use it with my students. For instance, when I use their first language to explain a concept or to give them the precise translation, and they're amazed when they hear their first language in an English-speaking class.
Yeah.
So the sparkle in their eyes and the joy I see in their eyes is really interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think like being able to speak another language, or even going through that journey to learn another language, kind of puts you in the shoe of your students, right? So you understand what your students are experiencing in terms of challenges, you know?
Absolutely. And I refer back to my experience. Like when I started to study French, I always tell that to my student. Or when I
Mm-hmm.
started to study Spanish, for example, it was not easy. I know, in a way, I remember how it feels like to sit in a classroom and not understand everything you hear. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, and even like the feeling of, you know, nervousness when you have to produce the language and the frustration, you know, learning is up
absolutely.
and down.
Right. And it helps you become a better teacher, or at least a more understanding teacher,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Um, what advice do you have for individuals who are learning an L2 or L3 or, you know, L4?
I would say the same exact advice I give
Mhm.
to my EAP students, to be patient, and then to spend time and effort learning this second language. It takes
Mhm.
a lot of time, so that's why they have to be patient. And then, of course, they need to engage in communication with others, not be afraid to mispronounce something
Mhm.
or to make some grammar errors. That's okay. I love mistakes. That's what I keep telling my students
Mhm.
in my classroom, that mistakes are the best thing you can produce in our class, because we learn from that,
Right.
and you will
Right.
improve and get better and better. So I
Right.
would say play with the language, take risks, try it
Mhm.
out, use it with people whenever you can, because that's the only way you'll be able to feel more confident and then enjoy it.
Mhm.
Most importantly, I would say you have to enjoy the journey. It has to be a fulfilling one and a joyful one, so that you could become confident each day and more. But the key word is practice. The
Oh,
more you read,
absolutely.
the more you listen and you
Yeah.
write, the better you will feel. And
Mhm.
I also tell my students, think back of your first language, and people around you. Do you feel that maybe your own children are forgetting their L1? Maybe they are. Why? Because they're not using it every day, right?
That's
So
great.
we do not only forget our second or third language if we don't use it, but it might happen that we might forget our very first language, our mother tongue, if we don't practice it. So that's the key with every language, I'd say.
Wow, that's such a good way to put it into perspective. I never even thought about that, you know, forgetting your L1, and I certainly do forget certain vocabulary and of my L1 as well. So that's a really good point. I'm gonna borrow that next time I talk to my students.
I share with them a personal example of myself. So before or while I was teaching part-time at the university, I was also working for an NGO. And I took maternity leave, which was about 8 months long. And I was
Mhm.
only talking to a baby for 8 months, right? But then after that, when I went back to the office, I was like, oh my God, I have forgotten how to express myself.
Mhm.
So that event really puts into perspective that practice is everything, really.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, so with so much experience in the ELT field, what do you feel is lacking in ELT?
Um, well, I would say that, first of all, what is lacking for ELT professionals is job security. So I would say this is a very hot topic,
Hmm.
but
I'm agreeing. Yes, yes.
but I feel that there are so many educators out there who are amazing, who do an incredible job, but who do teach in so many institutions. They
Hmm.
do have to have multiple jobs because that's the reality. And I would say that initially, that's an amazing thing. That's a great thing to do. That's a very positive thing to do initially, because you gain lots of experience from all these different institutions. You expand your professional network. You learn from the experience and from all the colleagues you meet wherever you go and you work. But then stability becomes a necessity. So I would say
Absolutely.
stability is crucial to their mental health, to their well-being, and it influences their productivity as well.
Absolutely.
So I would
Yeah.
say that that's lacking so far, and I would love to see more job opportunities for professionals in the field. Now, from another perspective, when it comes to preparing ELT professionals, because I've worked so much in teacher trainings, I would say that a more rigorous program for future teachers of English and a more variety throughout their practicum would be helpful. Because as we said, when you are an ELT professional, you don't do only one job. You can become a link teacher, you can become an ESL instructor, you can become an EAP professor, a communication professor, an assessment specialist, a trainer. So future teachers do need more hands-on experience and a more elaborate curriculum. I also work as a host teacher for several universities and institutions, and I feel the need that they do require more practice, and they do need more support. But then, of course, luckily, there is TESL Ontario, and there are fellow colleagues wherever they will start to teach that will be there and that will always offer their help and support. So I would say that though a cliche, we as teachers are lifelong learners. So there will always be time to learn. But the better we prepare them before they go and stand in front of a classroom, the better their start will be.
Yeah, no, that's well said. I think a lot of us agree with you, especially about job security. It is something that is really lacking, and I'm hoping that it will change
Hopefully.
soon in the near future. Yeah,
Hopefully it will.
hopefully, fingers crossed.
We all
Um,
deserve the respect, and because of the hard work we do and the important work we do, we deserve better, right?
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Hey, awesome. My next question for you is, what has been the highlight of your career so far?
Wow. Okay.
And you've had
Uh,
a long career, so.
so yeah, that's why I'd say it's a tough question. Um, I'd say that the highlight of a teacher's career is the student success. So whenever our students succeed, whenever our students write us an email and let us know what they're doing and what they've been able to achieve in life, that's the highlight of our profession. So I would say an experience I had with Mohawk College, we had a project in collaboration, a community project in collaboration with City Lab in Hamilton. Under this project, students were in a way required to make a presentation on certain reasons that they found important for them to convince other students on why they had to continue and live in Hamilton even after graduation. So this came from the city of Hamilton as a requirement. And then we started presenting this project to our level 8 EAP students, so the more advanced students at Mohawk College.
Yeah.
And they had to prepare these presentations using PowerPoints or slides, whatever way or a poster, whatever way they found easy for them. And then they came this was pre-COVID, right? So we gathered and there were city officials present. And it was incredible to see students of English presenting in front of city officials, other international students, other domestic students, presenting their reasons why they should keep on and live and stay in Hamilton, why they should make Hamilton their home. It was amazing to see them present in such an official setting,
Of course,
in
yeah.
front of one another and in front of, and do that all in a language which is not their first language.
Exactly. It must have been so nerve-wracking. Definitely.
But they did it.
Yeah.
But they did it, and they did amazing. And the skills they gained after this, it was amazing to see. And they felt empowered.
Oh, for
They were
sure.
like,
I can imagine.
once we did
Yeah.
this, we can do this.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
level of confidence
Oh, for
after everything.
sure.
Yeah. So this,
Yeah.
seeing this, witnessing such events
Mm-hmm.
really makes our profession so enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of us would agree with you that, seeing our students succeed and seeing where they are, how much they've learned, and what they're doing with those skills is definitely rewarding. And I think that's what a lot of us, that's why we chose the profession, right? To make, to create change in someone's life.
Absolutely. The effect we have in other people's lives and how we change their
Exactly.
lives forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. My last question for you is, what advice do you have for teachers and students as we start a new academic year?
Well, I would say to take one day at a time, one challenge at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely know and feel that it's not easy. And again, I'm doing multiple jobs at the same time.
Yeah.
But I would say that there's always support. So seek for help, because there's always support. And I feel this in the colleges and institutions I work for. I feel that there are amazing colleagues that have a lot to share and help out whenever you need the help and support. So please go and meet with them online or phone call, and I'm sure that you'll find people that will be there and ready to
Mm-hmm.
help you.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe I'm privileged, but I also do work with amazing department chairs and associate deans that, even though they themselves are under a lot of pressure, still they have shown to be very caring and to be there for their staff, their students, and professors. So, absolutely, my advice would be to go and look for help if need be, and
Mm-hmm.
just take one day at a time, one challenge at a time. It will get better. There is hope. But if we help one another, it becomes easier for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Excellent advice. Excellent.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely. I think a lot of people do feel afraid to ask for help. So it's really good that you're, expressing that and encouraging people to not be afraid to ask for help.